I am very excited when it comes to ICP as of right now, and let me explain why. Because not too long ago, Dfinity made a post on X, and they said that they're just a few days away from the Caffeine AI event in San Francisco. Now, keep in mind, Caffeine AI allegedly the world's first ever self-writing apps platform, and I'll get a little bit later into that later on in the video. But even besides that point, I do like this, right? Because this allegedly is going to happen July 15th, again in San Francisco, and in this event, you know they're probably going to showcase just how awesome maybe Caffeine AI is. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions, but I'm still very excited nonetheless because if let's say the launch is good, if let's say Caffeine AI is what many people think it could be, something good. Now, again, who knows if it's just a launch? We'll have to wait and see maybe months or even years down the line. But then at the same time, I do like this, right? Because it's still kind of, showcasing, I would say, development when it comes to what the internet computer could be moving forward. But even besides that, I like this. Again, the event's going to be in San Francisco, July 15th. I love San Francisco, by the way. I mean, I've been to San Francisco so many times. And just to kind of showcase something, my favorite backpack brand ever is called like Air. It's spelled like AER. And they actually have a store in San Francisco. So I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, it's just, a backpack that I do like. But even besides that point, and also by the way, I have this like carrying pouch by Air as well, like AER. But again, they're not telling me to make this video or anything like that. I just thought it was cool because there is a store in San Francisco, and then again, Caffeine AI allegedly the event is going to be in San Francisco, so I just wanted to talk about it. But yeah, I just think it's pretty cool nonetheless. I'm a fan of like everyday carry. I like watching videos like that, so I just wanted to showcase some of my everyday carry as well. When I take a look at Caffeine AI. For instance, Caffeine AI utilizes AI to translate natural language prompts into code, automating and simplifying the application development process. Now, why do I think that this is, really good? Maybe because if we take a look at apps, right? I get it. People seem to think that no one really cares about that. Developers are doing it in this. But then if let's say there is maybe a tool to kind of help, app development, maybe why would that be a bad thing? And if we kind of combined, the aspect of AI, I think that is something that is very, at least exciting to me because sure, we have these like, use cases for AI. Like, for instance, we search something, we ask a question, but then when it comes to apps, that's something that, again, I think is maybe revolutionary because imagine, right? Allegedly, again, Caffeine AI, the world's first self writing apps platform. This could maybe be something. Now, are there advantages when it comes to having that first mover advantage? Sure, because I think that if something is early to the market, that could hypothetically be good if it's very revolutionary. But then some people may argue that, oh, having that second or third or fourth mover advantage could also be considered good because they think that maybe they can learn from the mistakes of those that did the first mover advantage. But whatever the case may be, I still think that when it comes to seeing stuff like this, it kind of showcases that they're willing to kind of push the boundaries in terms of, I would say their development and kind of their growth moving forward. Because if let's say Dfinity never talked about this or they never even cared about it, I would still be bullish on ICP anyways. I mean, I was bullish on ICP before when the price was not doing good whatsoever. I get it, there's a big pullback and a little bit of recovery for many alts, out there, but then still, not really kind of the best. But even still, despite that, ICP at least was doing better than when I first started talking about it. And I was bullish on it then. And even at that time, the internet computer, I don't think had that many things to kind of, for me to latch onto, to kind of really believe in. But I still was even bullish back then, anyways. So right now, with, seeing something like Caffeine AI, not to mention, when it comes to the internet computer, not too long ago, it was kind of showcased how some of the projects in their ecosystem was even arguably focused on agriculture. And agriculture, I think, is sometimes a market that people don't really sometimes think about when it comes to this space, but I still kind of find that very cool and amazing nonetheless when it comes to the internet computer because, for instance, according to Virtue Market Research, the global agriculture market is expected to reach nearly 17 trillion by 2030. I mean, wow, that's just like very mind-blowing to me because if we take a look at, if it's actually able to do that, that's going to be bigger than many countries' GDP. So I just kind of find that very fascinating. Now, that's just a prediction, right? But then I think it kind of showcases the scale, and maybe the internet computer could, hypothetically, let's say, even just play a small role in that. Who knows? That could already be considered very good, in my opinion. Now, even besides all that, right? The internet computer, sometimes you'll have to say, oh man, it's kind of a boring project and all this, but to me, I don't think it's boring. And let's say ICP were to go to the price of $100, that is around an 18x from here. Now, again, even if let's say it just went to $50, right? Hypothetically. Now, $50 around 9x. Now, if it were to do that, what is Bitcoin going to do in the next 6 to 10 months? What is Ethereum going to do in the next 6 to 10 months? Some people are saying maybe around a 3x because Ethereum going to 10 grand, sure, slightly over 3x from here. We take a look at something like Bitcoin going to 300 grand, slightly under 3x from here. Even just $50 when it comes to something like ICP is already well beyond a 3x. Now, only time will tell because this is not something that we can know right now, in my opinion, because how can we if ICP hasn't even reached that right now, right? So this is the way I take a look at it. But then at the same time, ICP has a way lower market cap. Of course, it's an altcoin. Ethereum is also an altcoin, but I'm just saying ICP has way lower market cap. It doesn't have too small of a market cap, though. I mean, it is pretty massive, but it's not like kind of this dinosaur status where it's like, too massive. So I think it kind of has this balance for me in a sense where I do not want to just really go all into a microcap because why would I do that? I just don't want to. But then at the same time, I don't really want to believe in something like Bitcoin either for me right now because that recently hit a new all-time high. Why would I believe into a project like just automatically and just, exit out of all my other holdings just for something that again recently hit a new all-time high? It just wouldn't make sense to me. This is just my perspective. Again, I'm not saying on anyone's behalf. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but this is just kind of my mindset as of right now. So again, I'm just going to stay patient because if that Bitcoin dominance drops, if we do, let's say, hypothetically see a fully fledged type of altcoin season, I do want to be prepared. And just by holding, waiting, I mean, that's the only thing that's within my control. So I'm going to do that. But in the meantime, I do like the recovery when it comes to some alts out there, even though it may not be that massive in the grand scheme of things. But again, if that Bitcoin dominance drops, if we see a fully fledged type of altcoin season, I would not be surprised if it, let's say, maybe way outperformed what we saw back in 2021, because back in that bull run, during the peak of that, there was around 300 million crypto owners. Now, there's over 600 million, allegedly. So that's way more. Not to mention, I feel like the hype when it comes to, the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF is, I think, really good. Now, again, I don't want to believe in Ethereum and Bitcoin, but then it can't be argued that that sentiment is good for the space overall. Not to mention, we take a look at all the other pending ETFs or projects out there beyond just like, Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? So I think that arguably as of right now, I do like the conditions a lot better than back in 2021. Sure, we haven't really seen that type of altcoin season generally speaking, but still, I just kind of like the vibe of it better because if we take a look at before we saw that fully fledged type of altcoin season back in 2021, many people were kind of doubting it, right? Then suddenly it just kind of happened. So when will that exact time be? And if it were to happen ever, who knows? Only time will tell, but I just want to stay patient in case maybe something like that does happen. So again, I don't want to give up and I'm just holding and I'm just waiting. That's it, even though I cannot speak on anyone's behalf. And even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything when it comes to ICP or just any other project, right? But this is just kind of my mentality when it comes to this. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch you all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.